Okay, I think we're live. I am so excited. I'm sitting here in, I almost said Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Louisiana, and we had such an amazing night last night at our Lafayette Spring City Tour Try It Works event, and we're excited to talk to you a little bit about that today. But before we get started, my name is Cammie Pentecost, and we are changing the way we're doing calls. And so this is the first of the calls that you're going to see throughout the week. And I just want to tell you about some of the changes as we get started, and then I get to introduce my guests with you. So our typical Tuesday night tips from the top call that we have traditionally held at 9 p.m. Eastern will no longer happen in the evening. Instead, I'll be posting a Zoom training every Tuesday in the Road to VIP and the VIP page. And that will start the first Tuesday of April. And that's this call. So I'm excited to talk to you today about the Spring City Tours, the benefit of it, and why you want to get on board with that. But before I do, I just want to remind you, our Monday night, everything you need to know calls are no longer going to be happening. Instead, you're going to see the notes like you've been seeing with all the specifics of what's coming or what's happening. And then myself or Adrian will go live on Tuesdays in the morning just to recap a couple of the high points that we want to make sure that you're paying attention to. But again, we're trying to create space in your evening schedule where you can get out and meet with people in person, where you can literally connect with your team that's local, where you could travel and go connect with teams that you have in other areas that you might not get to otherwise see. Remember, most people are not full-time with the business, and they work this business night and weekends around their regularly scheduled jobs and family activities. And that's the beauty of having a side hustle or a business from home. So as we continue to create space for you guys to have that time, we also want to support you training wise. And as we continue to build out this power team, you've got this amazing group of RSMs that are traveling on these city tours, but we're going to be hiring new training, corporate training people that are going to be helping us put together our training systems. Wednesday night are still going to be new distributor training. So that will still happen as we've been doing them. Thursday night are going to be opportunity meetings. We're going to do one that makes sense for Pacific time, I think 7 o'clock Pacific and 7 o'clock Eastern. That calendar will be coming to you on the Road to VIP and VIP pages. And then obviously we'll continue with our Sunday fun days and like this Mark Madness Bingo Bonanza. We'll continue to do fun things like that to help you build your business. So we will be communicating that more and more just to make sure everybody understands what's going on. But my job is to make sure you guys get great content on Tuesdays. So this Tuesday is our very first tips from the top. And I have guests with me here today. I have Tessie Carter and Lacee Rocca. Did I say that right, Rocca?
Yes, you did.
And I want to give you a little background because I'm going to have each of them introduce themselves to you and tell a little bit of their story. But before I do that, we've been talking about the Spring City Tour and that we're going to be getting back in cities near you. And they're kind of smaller events that give us an opportunity to not only connect with your teams in the areas that we're traveling to, but it's a great place to bring guests. So they come and learn more about It Works. They can try some of the products like the smoothie, and then they can hear stories. And that's really the benefits of these city tours. And so, everybody paid $20 to come. There was hors d'oeuvres. You got a drink with that. But we also had a sample pack for our guests. And then for those that signed up on the spot, we had a gift. That was really cool. We had about 8 guests last night, right?
Yep.
We had about 8 guests last night, and I would say about 6 of them, four of them I think we know signed up.
I think for sure 4, yeah.
But that, the others were definitely asking questions and probably didn't sleep last night.
Right. I know I connected with them after the event too, and I was like, okay, I've got to go to bed. I have work in the morning.
So I think as we get started, I love getting together in cities and getting back out with people. And I was on a call not too long ago where I was like, okay, I'm going to come to a few cities. And this is not the first time y'all have hosted an event because y'all were very instrumental in our Christmas Cash tour, which wasn't necessarily for prospects as much as it was just to get out and connect with the team because COVID and the pandemic had just had us all so separated and disconnected. But y'all hosted one of those. And then I put it out there that I was coming to a few cities and y'all were like, you both texted me separately, actually. I was like, this is so weird. Either they're together and this is funny, or they're that passionate about in-person events. So I said, yes. I said, you have to do it in less than 10 days, which I don't think they knew when they asked for me to come, that it was going to be a less than 10-day turnaround on getting this event together. But girls, 60 something people showed up last night.
Yeah, it was fun.
So what made you both jump on texting me that fast? Like what do these in-person events mean to you? Well, before you do that, will you tell us a little bit about your story so people can understand how long you've been in?
Okay, yes. So my name is Lacee. I am a triple diamond, and I have been in the business for 3 years this past February. And I was super skeptical at first. I was one of those people that didn't understand the process. I never knew anyone that was successful with the process. I had a few friends who kind of jumped around from business to business. So clearly I thought it's never going to work. Like that's, the scam, the pyramid scheme, all the things like that was me. And then my sister got in, she started, talking about the products. I didn't even drink coffee at the time. So fast forward, short version, she got me signed up as a customer. 3 weeks later, she got me signed up as a distributor. And I think 3 months later, I was diamond, rocking on my way to double diamond, and then soared through triple diamond. So the products have completely changed my life. I've lost 40 pounds. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. My triglyceride levels have lowered. I literally live by the products. I'm a walking, talking product myself.
Last night you kept saying, I can't wait to go home and have my tea. And I was
Yes.
like, what's your tea?
I love my tea concoction. I drink skinny tea, sleepy tea, and immunity at night, every night.
Sleepy tea, skinny tea, and immunity. She does them all together. I love that.
I do.
Now you said something last night that you didn't say here for them, and I love it. You were like, y'all, I'm not a mom. I'm not a plant mom. I'm not a, tell me that little.
So everyone always, they're saying, I'm married, I have so many kids, or I'm a dog mom. I am single. I work a full-time job. I don't have pets, plants, or kids. And I struggle with the trash. Like I am a hot mess all the time. But I work full-time. I hustle this business full-time, mornings, nights, weekends, whenever I go to the bathroom at work. Anytime I can, I'm constantly trying to help people with their health and wellness goals, or bringing an extra income, and just really just understand like this business heart, like the heart of the company is really what like kind of gets me, because I didn't understand it whenever I first started. And I think so many people even get started and have that doubt internally too. Like it's just kind of always there, whether they want to admit it or not. They don't really think that it's going to work, or they're just going to try it for a few months, or maybe even just a couple weeks and see what can I get this month type of thing.
What I do love about your story too is I hear a lot of people tell me they can't do this business because they have a full-time job, and you're a triple diamond making a full-time income, but she's also working a full-time job, no excuses. And so I think it really just comes down to some time management and priorities, right?
Yeah.
All right, how about you, Tessie? Tell us your story.
Okay, so my name is Tessie Carter, and I'm a presidential diamond. I've been in the business for 3 years. And before this business, I was a stay-at-home mom, also working from home. And, we were able to do fun things. We were able to take vacations. We weren't, in a financial bind. We didn't need the extra income. We weren't praying for it. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I felt like I didn't have a place. I was like, well, we don't need the money. When you hear a lot of stories in the business, it's a lot of people that are in debt or couldn't pay their bills, and I was like, well, that's not me, but I was following the opportunity on Instagram for 15 months.
Wow.
And I think too, that's one reason why I kind of took off, was because it's like, I watched the consistency of my enroller for 15 months. So it's like, I knew, okay, it's going to take posting every day. Even though I didn't have a Facebook, I knew, okay, I'm going to have to post somewheres. But my daughter asked me to join tumbling, and I was like, where's that money going to come from? Like, we save a little bit each month, but that's going to take away from that. And then there's no savings for emergencies, for rainy days, for medical, house, nothing. So I finally decided to say yes, February 2019. And it's just been really life-changing. As the kids are getting older, we're seeing, wait, we do need more money. We did need it then, we just didn't know it. But it's just been a really big blessing for us, and it's allowed us to dream bigger. My husband wants to, open up a company for himself. He wants to do things on the side, and it's just allowing us to dream bigger as a family.
That's really cool. And we had the opportunity to spend time with you and your husband last night, obviously, at the event. And he's just a big old fan of all of this. And I love seeing the men involved, and the husbands also working the business, and or just supporting, what's happening. So y'all joined pretty much the year before the pandemic hit.
Yes, February 2019, yeah.
So you'd actually probably been to some in-person events.
So our first event was, we joined in February, which was right after the conference. So our first event was in September. It was the last green carpet in Florida that you guys had did. That was our first event. We were in just a couple of months, and Kelly was like, do you guys want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure. We're up for it.
Clearly we have FOMO.
But you really weren't doing prospect events, right? For like guests at that time, or
So
had you?
we weren't doing guests, but we have a really big local team.
Okay.
So I was doing monthly meetings throughout the summer and things like that. But no, we weren't doing anything guest wise, but our team was coming over. We were having monthly meetings. There was like 5 of us and we were just rocking it. We're like, okay, we're just gonna have fun and let's just do this.
We'll learn together. So what made you guys both want so much to host an event here in Lafayette?
Well, clearly we wanted to have you in our presence. First and foremost, I was like, I am not missing a moment to spend time with Cammie. Absolutely not. But secondly,
We didn't practice this, you guys. This is
No, I
not
swear.
practice.
I am slightly obsessed. But for me, I think just coming from that background of like not knowing how it actually works, not knowing people who did it, like I want people to see that like it's not just me. Like I do have a team of people. There are other people. Like so it's the pictures, it's getting the content, it's spending the time learning each other's story. That way, whenever I meet someone who's not my typical background, I can say, oh yeah, you're like my teammate so-and-so. Or I'm not a mom,
Right.
but my sister is a mom and we're both rocking this business. Or, you know, I have these stories tucked away for a rainy day, for whenever someone gives me those, no, I can't because of, no, I could never.
Well, it's hard to relate with people with different backgrounds. So I think as I hear the stories, it makes me think of 5 or 6 more people that I should be talking to
Right.
about this business, or somebody that I saw on my newsfeed that was having this pain or this want or this need, that now I hear that story and theirs was the same. How many people in the room last night were recovering addicts? And it takes a recovering addict to attract another recovering addict so that they can believe it's possible, right? They have to
Right.
see it to be it. So let's go ahead and transition, because y'all had, like I said, over 60 people in the room last night. We know of at least 8 were guests. I know we had 20 signed up, but not everybody usually comes.
Right.
But I was watching a new girl. I think she was under you, Tessie, somewhere.
Yeah.
She had like 4 of those guests, maybe 5 of those
She had
guests.
5 potentials that was there. And, you know, it was even eye-opening for her. You know, yes, she was able to bring in 5 people that can really take in the business. And I think for sure 2 of them might have signed, and then the rest are going to sign. But it was eye-opening for her too, because she's a brand new distributor, less than a month in.
Right.
And she said that she thought she was coming to the event to sit through a 2-hour training, like corporate, like office training. She was like, I had no idea what I was coming into, the community, and, you know, just the heart of the company and the stories and the person, you know, the personal touches. She was like, I had no idea that that's what this was. So it's like, you know, she already believed in it. She's already, you know, completed like her full cycle and stuff. So like she was already running for the business, but now I feel like because she saw the heart and the people in the community, it's not just a normal job.
Well, and I would say her roots grew deeper yesterday, which I was sitting over there with her, because when you see that many guests in the room, I'm like, well, I'm going to go over there. I told you, if you guys bring guests, we'll help you sign them. But she was so on fire for the business. First of all, she couldn't wait to tell me she had just completed her first full cycle. But number 2, she was on fire for the products. And she wasn't like speaking about the products like she was a doctor. She was just sharing what she loved and how convenient they were and how full she felt and the results she was already experiencing. And I love that passion, and I almost call it ignorance on fire, because if we're excited, that excitement creates such contagious energy around what we're doing, and people just want to be a part of it. And so, you know, being there at that event, she was already contagious and excited about the business. So I think she's posting consistently, and these people were like, whatever she's got, whatever she's on, I want that too. Yeah, totally. And then they meet the rest of you and you see that you are in business for yourself and you're not by yourself. And there was plenty of sidelines there last night. Even it wasn't just people under your group. There was other people and other
people
teams.
travel in. Yeah, I mean, what's like Charles, an hour and a half, 2 hours. We had, you know, people from other teams come in, which I think is fun, that you get to meet and see. Like, I like making connections. Like, oh wait, one of the first questions is, wait, whose team are you on? I just like seeing who's kind of near us, and it's fun.
And just connecting, hearing more stories. So I know what my favorite part of last night was. What was your favorite part of last night?
I think, again, going back to just like the content and kind of getting those good pictures to post, because you know, for so long we've been on our own or consolidated or isolated, and even throughout the pandemic, like the amount of scams has skyrocketed. Like people are trying to make money off even the COVID. Like there's so much craziness, and you never really know who's behind the internet screen. So I feel like posting all of the real pictures and, you know, the group pictures and the selfies and sharing people's stories, that really just truly shows that like yeah, I'm doing it, but so can you, so can she, so can my friend. Like, it's just the passion behind, I think, the business itself.
There was all ages last
Yes.
night. There was men, there was women. Like I said, tons of different backgrounds. I've been doing this for over 15 years and the stories never get old for me.
Right.
So that was definitely my favorite part. And I have to tell you guys, I was so out of practice last night. We get to the average income chart and we're focusing on like phone a friend and success bonuses. So I was a little bit like a lost puppy last night, but all of a sudden we get to the end and I'm like, oh my gosh, we haven't even heard the stories yet. And so we had only about 7 to 10 diamonds and above in the room.
Yep.
And we had one woman shared with us at conference. And she shared her story and she just started like in June, right? June or July.
June or July.
And she was already quitting her job full-time doing this business, recovering addict, never thought she would amount to anything. It was just beautiful to see how this gave her a level playing field. And she was afraid that she wouldn't find anybody like herself here, and she did. And so it was just beautiful. How about you? What was your favorite?
So I think that's one of my favorite parts is I remember when I joined, watching Kelly and Stacey and Sherry, that's whose downline we're on. I'm like, man, they're just so inspiring. If I can only be like 1% of as inspiring as they are, then I'll be fine. Like if I can inspire one person. So that's always been something to me that's like just powerful. I feel like, man, that's just so awesome that you can inspire somebody. And I feel like still I have a lot of growing to do for my words to get there, you know what I mean? But knowing that because I said yes, scared, terrified, afraid, not knowing if this would work for me, it led to Lacee saying yes, which led to somebody else saying yes, which led to Valerie and, Tiffany and all these people that are able to change their lives. So I'm like, maybe my words aren't inspiring, but they're following our lead and they're able to change their life and, know that I came from a recovering addict and now I'm here and I can provide, single mom for my 4 kids or, and even like one of my girls going diamond soon, she's full-time worker. And she has 2 other side hustles and she's going diamond and she's killing it. And she's like, I can quit one of my other jobs if I want. Like, so it's just awesome to see that I'm not only benefiting myself and my family, it's trickling down and seeing what it's doing and how major it is for some people is pretty awesome.
I was just gonna say, when you think even your words aren't inspiring, I think your courage is. Because look at your yeses.
Your one
translated.
word, yes, was
Right.
enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we end our time together, I want to ask a couple questions. How did you get your people to get guests there? Like, did you teach them how to invite guests? Because here's the deal, for the first time ever in the history of the company, we are charging $20 not just for distributors to come, but we're also charging $20 for a guest to come. And you might be thinking, why would a guest have to pay? Well, number one, we want them to have some skin in the game so that they're there. If you decide you want to cover that ticket for them, that's totally up to you. It would be a tax write-off, but they are going to get samples for coming that night as a guest. Also, if they decide to sign up, they're going to get a free gift, and then they're getting hors d'oeuvres and they're getting a drink ticket. And so, there's other benefits. And it really, especially now in this world of COVID, after COVID that we're living in, you have to have your numbers in way in advance. So it just helps us give us a better idea of the numbers we're looking at. And so that's why we're doing that. I love it. I'm excited because I really believe it'll help people. If they say they're going to come because they have $20 in the game. But also if you're the one paying for your guests to come, you're going to be that much more good at following up with them and making sure if they need a ride, you'll go pick them up. Yes, absolutely. Reminders and getting them there, and will just be beneficial on all it. So any other, how did you guys get your people to invite? Did you give them some scripts or did you say, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, so Lacee's really good with scripts, but I had asked Kelly to help me make like an image because I'm not fancy with making images. So we made like an image with the picture of you and Vanessa on it and us, and we did like a big team picture that we took from Road Rally.
Okay.
We took a big group picture. Kelly slapped it on there for us, and we came up with we had everybody posting about it. So we would post about the event with the link. And then Lacee came up with some scripts to send out to to their potential so that everybody was just blasting it. We just kept talking about it, being super loud.
That's good. What was some of the verbiage you gave them?
So I think I just said, look, hey girl, I know that we've talked in the past about getting you started, and we haven't been able to do that yet, but we have a really fun in-person small opportunity coming up next Tuesday. It's only 2 hours. I would love to send you more information if you think you can make it or if it's convenient for you. I sent that message to a couple of my potentials in Texas, who then told me that they were from Texas. And I was like, well, you should probably update your Facebook page because it says you live in Lafayette. So
Well, but you at least have a conversation starting, and I'm sure they're like,
And
"But
so
tell
then,
me more."
so then I followed up with like a video that we had, like an opportunity video. And I was like, well, since you can't come, like here's an opportunity video that our team did. It's 15 minutes. It's short and simple. Watch it. Let me know your questions. So today, I'll be following up, or tonight probably, with them saying, you know, hey, did you get a chance to watch the video yet? Or I had two girls who didn't get a chance to come last night. They bought tickets. I sent them the video this morning. I'm like, hey, we missed you so much last night. But our team did do a video last night as well. Here's the link to it. And I'll connect with you this afternoon and, you know, follow up with any questions that you have.
I love that. And I think that's a great way to follow up, because I'd love to follow up with any questions that you have. And, you know, I just simply believe it's reaching out and going, I know we've talked a little bit about what I do. I'd love for you to come and try It Works. We're going to get together this night at this time. You guys, if they can't come to the in-person event, invite them to one of our Try It Works live events that are going to take place starting on Thursday nights. Again, I really believe a message and a post is one way to draw somebody in, but I think until they really hear more about what it is we do, they might not truly understand it or take full advantage of what they have their hands on until they have a bigger perspective. And that's one thing you said is you love it for guests, but you also love it for your new DTs.
Yes.
Tell us why you love it for your new DTs.
I think just being around for, I mean, I say 3 years is a long time, but it is a long time. It's the longest commitment I've ever had, if we're being honest. So it's just like we get in a routine and we know, but we forget how we feel whenever we didn't know. So it kind of just gives them a little bit more of that verbiage and that background, and knowing that, yes, I know my upline, but now I know her upline, or I know, you know, our friend from down the road, or, you know, we have friends in Texas who came in from last night. So it's like just getting them and like having them see the heart of the company too. It gives them the confidence to turn around and then say, I was at an event last night. You know what happened? Like they just get fired up too, that they want to talk about it. And it's back to that ignorance on fire. Even if they became like a little bit stale in the process,
Totally.
This is a great way to like relight that passion.
I find that with even people that have been with us for a while.
Yeah.
Because when people feel disconnected, I think it just gets stale. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a relationship when you're not spending time with each other, you know.
It gets boring, right? Well, and I feel like too, whenever, you know, like I know whenever I joined, I was like, oh, well, only the already rich people win at this business, or only the people with big houses succeed at this business. And I feel like too, it can break down to locations. Oh yeah, she lives in Houston, which is a huge city, or, you know, so
Right.
you feel like the small towns aren't successful, which we don't grow our business just from where we are, but that's what so many people don't know. But being able for everybody to come last night and see like, oh wait, all of these people are here and they're winning. So
I
it
can win
doesn't
too.
matter
Yeah.
where you're from. It doesn't matter, you know, if we're a small town or Lafayette, Louisiana, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter where you're from or the background you've come from, anybody can win. And I think when you get the people in the room and you're sharing those stories and just in conversations, it's huge.
Oh yeah, we always say it's the meeting after the meeting that
Yeah.
has the greatest impact. And our little time last night around the
Yeah.
dinner table,
That was
just
so
In our
spending-
little nook.
I know.
Off
It was
to the
so
back.
good.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to share? I'm really excited to get this out there because we know that these spring city tours have kicked off and they're going to be happening not just through May, you guys, well into the rest of the year, because we're meeting together again. We're not allowing the isolation, the pandemic, quarantine to keep us from meeting together, because our most powerful advantage is meeting together and letting people see what they really have their hands on. And so we're going to be doing that more and more. What's next for you guys? Are you guys going to host one of these without us?
For sure.
Absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. I think, yes, having corporate come in is always plan A.
Always
but-
for us.
Always plan A. But seeing so many of our teammates there and just letting them know like how simple it was. Like you literally broke it down. It was like I pointed and read from a screen and then asked people from the audience to read from a screen. Like it wasn't anything like
Fancy or,
dramatic.
yeah.
You didn't have to have all this background knowledge. The presentation is set up for anyone to do it. And I think
Totally.
that a lot of our distributors saw that and they can now feel more confident, maybe even just hosting a home party, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a huge event where you have
Production.
60 people.
Or even
You
just a
could
phone
start
call.
doing those home parties again. And personally, we came in again right before COVID. I was building up the confidence to do home parties. And then COVID was like, no, ma'am, it's
Mhm.
not your time. Wait. But now I feel like it was the Lord saying, wait, because we have that coming. We have this presentation coming. Don't go in unprepared. Corporate's giving you everything you have. They've given you the presentation. And it was great that you guys came with it printed out for every guest to have. So that be a little bonus I'd add to, like print out the presentation. If you don't have a fancy laptop or don't have a projector or whatever,
Yeah.
you just give it to them and just
Mhm.
read through it right then and there. Like make it your own, but it's still got all of the information there for you.
And what I like about you guys continuing with events, even when we're not coming, is as like, I think next time you could have everybody that's done one success bonus or a quarterly bonus get up and
Right.
share.
Right.
Yeah.
What does this mean for you? Like,
Yeah.
what will you use that money for,
Yeah.
right? How long have you been in? 2 months? And you just earned $2,500 bonus?
Right.
Like, I think you can adapt that story portion, not just to be ranks. It can be ranks, but it could also be who's earned a success bonus, you know, in the last couple of months. And those will be great stories to hear too.
Yeah.
And it gives more of your people an opportunity to be on a stage. And I really think that that stage moment for people, it
It's
changes
huge.
everything.
Yeah, it is.
So anything else from you, Ms. Tessie?
No, I'm excited for them. I mean, we've never done a potential one just because they make me nervous. I'm like, oh, what if nobody shows up? What if, I'm like,
Then it's a
Right.
training,
It
then we're
is.
training.
right, it's a training, and it turns into a training. So that's what I'm like, okay, we can definitely start. Cause I'm like, if we wouldn't have had this, our brand new distributor wouldn't have brought her 5 people.
I know.
When would
Guys,
they
she
have
has
signed?
5 people there.
Would they have signed, like, would she have had now she has so much more confidence, in knowing to talk to them. So I'm excited going forward. I mean, we already do like local, monthly meetings. So
And it's just
I'm
going to
excited to
escalate
add it
her
in.
too. Like right now, what she had 2 that signed. So, I mean, if she has, one more, that's Ruby.
right.
And those people were already there connected. They know the process. They feel more empowered to, I mean, the first thing people say is, okay, let's throw up a post. And they're like, oh, I'm going to wait. No.
Now
have
they
the
know why they're
confidence.
throwing up a
They know
post.
why. They know what the posts are about. They know it's not spammy or whatnot. So they're going to take off even faster. Like that's Ruby done like next week.
Yeah, no, totally. I think their confidence and their belief in what they're doing is that much greater because they have a broader perspective of it. And so again, I cannot emphasize enough the power of these events. I love how social media, in person, all goes together. And here's what I can promise you, when you have the in-person aspect in place, the results are so much greater. Like what comes out of it, a distributor that you know in person is going to be 10 times more successful than somebody you met cold on social media. The chances of their the impact they make in the business right out of the gate is much less likely to be a big splash, if that makes sense. So utilize these events. If you have yet to host one or you don't know of one, get on the events calendar, look where one is going to be. I'm sure there's one in a city near you. And if you don't see one,
Travel.
then reach out.
Travel to, I'm like, I will travel to one if I have to.
Travel to one, reach out to one of our RSMs, the one in your area, and say, hey, I'm interested in having one here. Or perhaps you have a team in another area that you want to make sure they're connected. Just get connected with us and we'll help you get people plugged in, or we'll help you get a platform to have one for yourself. So
One more thing. I
Yeah.
think hosting it got our non-local team fired up because we have so many
That are
of
going-
our
yeah.
teammates that are going to the Alabama one and all the, just because they were like, oh man, we want to come to
FOMO.
yours. And we're like, hey, guess what? There's
Yeah.
one by you.
And help
We
them,
don't have
like,
to be there. Like you can still go without us. So
Right.
now we have a ton that got their girls. Like
yeah.
it's just such
Well,
a ripple effect.
and y'all, it's not like, well, there's one 3 hours away. Well, that's not, guests are not usually going to travel 3 hours. So if you can try to have one in your backyard,
Right.
then it's more likely your prospects are going to show up. So that's why even a small intimate event, like she said, just printing the presentation, not even doing a PowerPoint, is sometimes the best thing possible because it just keeps it small. It keeps it very duplicatable. It just feels like, oh, I can do that.
And then just
Absolutely.
helping them too. Like I know one of my brand new girls from, I think February, I think she signed up. She's going to the Tulsa one tomorrow.
Wow.
So I have her meeting up with Christy Vines there. So I'm like, if you can reach out and help them find something that's local to them, and sometimes it's not easy, but I'm like, I will take all the screenshots of all of the locations, send it in all my group messages to my newbies and
Say get plugged in.
see where I can help them, because then they know you're invested in them. You
Mhm.
really want them to show up to an event, so they're more likely to go because you're like one-on-one with them, trying to help them find a place. And it'll be huge for them, and then see who you can connect them there with that is going in that location.
And that's why we're using the same presentation at all of these events, so that you're confident that when you send your people somewhere, even if you can't go, they're going to get the similar message, right? It might have a little bit of a different twist to it because of the personality of the person that's giving the presentation, but for the most part, the content they're going to get. So anyways, I'm really looking forward to hearing about your event, you hosting one, getting to one, and hearing about the results. And let's just go ahead and comment below your scripts that you're using to invite people, or the ways in which you're getting your teams plugged into these city tours all across the nation. And it won't be long before we're seeing Canada and Mexico all start gathering together in just the same way. And I really believe when we're getting in proximity, there's so much power to being in proximity. So I'm glad that we can do it again. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you soon.